Hello and welcome to another cooking extraordinaire with me. It's Nicholas's dad, and today I'll be baking, and I'll be baking butterfly buns. Now I'll be doing normal butterfly buns for me with icing sugar, buttercream with jam in it, and then because there's them persons who don't like that, I'll be doing some chocolate versions. So yeah, I hope you enjoy. Right, so firstly, get something to mix in. Mixing bowl. It says what it does what it says on the tin. Right, so we shall firstly start by pressing it to 0. Right, and then what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to measure out 350 grams of granulated sugar. That's this. Get that in there. 350, 200. How's that? That's 330, 340, 350. So that's 350. That was some hard sugar in there. Right, and on top of that, they say to use unsalted butter, but I don't. I do it my way. Call me Frank. I did it my way. Right, okay. So in there, you want 350 grams of sugar. So if you've got 350 grams of sugar, you're putting 350 grams of butter, then you've got 700 grams. Mathematics. Don't call me Einstein for nothing. Well, no one does actually, but there you go. So yeah, we'll start putting that in. So that's going to equate up to 700. Right. So we've got 500 there. We've got all that in there. 700 we want. That's one finished with. Blah blah done. Boosk. We've got some more here. La 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 la. Right, that's that. Nearly got enough. We're going to go in my fridge for a little bit more. And for those who are saying I'm losing my hair, rubbish. Nah. So let's go in and we'll put some layer pack in. We all love layer pack, don't we? Come over here. Come on. Over here. That's it. Right, so look, just a little bit more. 689, 700. So that do be it. And what I'm going to do is I've got my mixer, and it's for mixing. Right, so we're going to bang my mixing implement in. And what that does is it mixes. Right, so that's 700, yep. So we're going to bang that in there and get it mixing. Okay. I like it in that bowl. So, get that mixing. Put that in there. Right. Make that so it's sturdy, it won't flip and come off. Done. Right, then what I do is I just add my eggs in. So, because to be honest, what's the point of fanny daddying about? So, I put in 1 egg. I bang in 2 egg. I miss. What a lot of egg. I have done this before, but you won't think it. There was half an egg in there. So let's get that tidied up straight away because I don't like this. Then presto, 2 eggs. Three eggs. 4 eggs. 5 eggs. 6 eggs. Done. Boosh. So, we've got our 6 eggs. Get that mixing. And you will get it stuck on your whisk. So what I tend to do is just get my implement, which I'm going to fold in later, so I'm going to use a wooden one. And I'll get that out of there. Try not to do it when it's turned on, because there's no point. Get all of that in there. Okay. Bloody thing, I would have been better doing it with electric whisk. But, you know, I've got tennis elbows, so I've got to be careful in my old age. Right, so get that in there, like that. Like so. Okay. Yep. Get that all off whisk. Okay. Get that mixing. So. Likes your mixing, and when we want some milk. Right, so we've got our eggs in there. We want about 4 tablespoons roughly. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 tablespoons of the milk. So that's in there. That's nicely mixing up. So I put in 2 tablespoons of vanilla extract. 1, 2, and then you want your flour. Now, I tend to leave it in there. They pretty much say, well, you should fold in the flour. But what I'm not ironing, so I would have fold it. Right? So, turn that to 0. In there, you want in 350 grams the same of self-raising flour. So, and we are 330, 340 and 350. Okay, make sure that's all in there because it's right messy as well. Get it folded up quickly. Now, like I said, I've got all of my stuff going in, whisking, so what I tend to do is just bit by bit add the flour. Some people put baking soda in this to help it rise, but I don't. Right, what I'm going to do before I put the rest of it in, I'm going to let that, just whisk that in, get that up while it's nice and runny. I'm going to get that all off there, and I'm going to take the whisk off because I'm going to fold the rest in. So make sure all my mix is off my whisk. Perfect, done. Get that in there, rinse it, because then it's easier to wash. Yeah, done. That'll be ready for my icing sugar, although I won't use whisk because it's too messy. So what I'm going to be doing is folding rest. So I'll use my belly. So I'm going to get the implement for folding in. I'm going to pop that in. Then I'm going to turn it on. But I can't because my flipping hands are full of. So I'll get that, taking all that in, and then just start adding the rest of the flour. Like I said, a lot of people will fold the flour in to stop it look as if it's snowing. But I can't be bothered. Yeah. Nope. That's nicely mixing in. You can always use a bit more milk if you need to. But to be honest, you won't. Okay, that's nicely folding in. And mixing up. Okay. My flour gone into the mixer. What I'll do next is just turn that off a second, up that, just make sure that I've got all of the bits off the side so that it's definitely mixing it all. I don't want any flour left on its own, so to speak. Off, because no one says cake mixture because it's got raw eggs. It's really bad for you, don't ever do that. Oh yeah, I'm just making sure that this is mixed up properly. Yes, I think that's mixed properly. Right. Oh god. Oh god, how did that get up there? Right. So that's nicely mixing up. So what we're going to do next is you need something to hold the butterfly buns together. Now, I've got this. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some of my paper cups. Use red ones first because they're the main colour. So yeah, that's on an angle, isn't it? Let me just steady that. Right, so we've got some reds. We've then got some purples, but I haven't got some purples and that's dirty, so I'm not using that. So I'll use the oranges. Then I use the blues. It's so easy just to put 6 or 7 in one. Like I have there. Okay. So unluckily I haven't got enough to do like that. So we'll put an extra red in because red's the colour. Red is the colour. Right, so that's been mixing. Right, to out of there. Okay, because that spoon that I had before fell to bits, so I've had to bin it. Right, what I'll do is I'll take that off there. Right, and then I'm going to put some nice amounts in my dishes, so in my paper cup, sorry. So one in there, one in there. The reason I'm doing it this way, as you'll see soon, one in there. Put a bit more in that first one, because you pretty much know from doing it before how much to put in. So yeah, all them in there, just a nice amount. Okay, blow that in there. Yep, that in there. That in there. Okay, just a bit more in there, a bit more in that one, a bit more in that one. Okay, then we want to spin these round. Yeah, okay. Put some in there. Some in that one. Some in that one. That one. That one. That one. Okay. Put more in that. More in that one. More in that one. Just a wee bit more in that one. And then yeah, they're done. Get as much off as possible. You'll see why in a minute. That is one set of cakes done. Right, so that's one set done. What I've got to do now is, look at Christ, tax. Doing road tax, unbelievable. I've got some more here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to see how many of these I've got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Right, the reason I've left that like that is because I'm going to bang it back in. I'm going to turn it back on. And then, to these, I'm going to be adding some cocoa powder. That one, I don't think I used the entire one last time. Let's see. We're going to use this one actually. Yeah. Right, so what I'm doing is I've got my mixture in there, so I'm just gonna start adding some cocoa powder to the mix, and I'm gonna do 2 big ones and get that mixed in, because then that makes chocolate ones. I mean, I'll leave. Right. So, yeah, that's starting to mix nicely. But what we're going to need to do is we're going to have to get my spoon. Just make sure all that is all together, all in. We'll just take that off from there. Perfect. Get all that chocolate all off there. Right. Oh, the things I do. Right. That's nicely mixing in there. I think actually we'll take this off here. Because I can do the rest. So we'll put that in there. We'll take this off the mixer and then just fold it in properly like this. Make sure that it's all totally mixed in. Yep. Yep. And that's your chocolate. So we'll get my spoon back off. Put that on side. Not as if I can use that later, but right. So we're ready. And same again, we're going to be getting a spoonful and popping it in. A spoonful, pop it in. A spoonful, pop it in. And like again and again and again. Okay. Okay. Yep. Yep. Right in there. Okay. Yep. Right. And then you've got, with whatever mixture you've got left, just add a bit more to these, because we don't want to waste any. It's not as if I'm going to lick it all out. Right, get that in there, quite a lot more in that one. Okay, that one will take a lot more. Like that one. That one can do a bit more. And that one. We're pretty much done. So yeah, a bit more in that one. Yep, and then we're done. So, So we've got our chocolate and we've got our vanilla. So join me in part 2 when I'll be mostly getting them out at cooker. And I'm going to be putting them in at 180 degrees for 20 to 22 minutes. So I'll bang them in, and when they're cooked we'll come back and I'll do buttercream. So join me then. Cheers. Hello and welcome to part 2. That's 2. Or 2. Or das. Peace. Right, over here is some of the cakes that have already come out. Lovely doubly, or even jubbly. Chocolate ones are in, and we're waiting for them to rise. Talk about rising, don't we, Scott? Right, mate. Right, so what we need is a lot of butter. So we've got our butter. We've got a spoon for getting out the butter. Have we? Have we? That'll do. Right, so I've got my butter spoon. So the butter we want 250 gram of. So I'll bang that in. 250 gram. Right. 160. 224. 243, and this bit here, 249, 250. Perfect. Oh, that's our butter in, and then we are wanting icing sugar. Now what I tend to do is I put my icing sugar in, and that's at 500 grams. Look, I'll play it by ear, mate, because you probably need more than 500. But to measure it, 500 plus 250 is 750. Well, we'll bang that in. $600, $700, and 50 exactly. Right, so that's our 750. Now what I do is I just start to fold it in without making too much mess with the fine dust, like I did with flour on other mix, but we won't go into that. So this is all going in, because what I do is I'll do this and I'll bang it in the fridge and just cool it down, and then what I'll do is I will put it into the plain vanilla buns, and I'll put a bit of jam as well. And then obviously I've got some chocolate ones. Shout out to Louise, because she wanted them, and what she gets what she wants she gets. So, my mate Louise. So, we've got 4 tablespoons of milk. 1, 2, 3. I'll just put 3 in actually. And then, I mean, you don't need to do this, but I'll put a little tiny bit of vanilla. Done. Right, and finish mixing that up. That will help to get it all together. And like I say, there's no way you can go wrong with butter icing, because get it all mixed up. And then, if it's too runny, you just add more icing sugar. And if it's too thick, you just add a bit more milk. So you can't really go wrong. So yeah, it's pretty simple, isn't it? Butter icing. And then, like I say, this will go with the vanilla, so they'll be fine. And then what I'll do is I'll just add some chocolate to the next one, and then Bob's your auntie. Check that. Yeah, I'd say just a little bit more icing sugar. We might as well get rid of it. Put that into bin shortly. Fold that in. I mean, it's pretty much perfect as it is, but I think my ma told me if it falls off spoon, it's not quite right. And I tell you what, I'm going to keep that spoon for later, for when I have the cocoa. But what I'm going to do, just to make sure it's all nicely mixed up, is I'm going to get my whisk, and I'm going to get my mixer, and I'm just going to give it a quick scene to, like my mate Scott would. He gave a good scene to, didn't you, mate? Right, so let's give it a real good mix. The better the buttercream, the more creamy it is, the better it is, in my view. You spend a bit more time doing this, and it's just perfect. Okay. I think that is absolutely perfect. So, just take a bit off. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Right, so we are just about ready to take out the chocolate ones. So I'll take my glasses off because they steam up. I like Tina Turner said, you're no good with steamy windows. Steamy windows, it's glasses. Okay. Right, so turn that off. Come over here. Right, and then get out your buns. Just check that they bounce. I don't mean chucking them round kitchen either. So, right, there's your chocolate ones. Shut that there. Put these over there. Right, so what you want to do, just check that they're cooked. Yeah, they're perfect. And what we're doing is we're going to put the chocolate ones at the other side. And what we're wanting to do is obviously let them cool down. Because if you put butter ice in when it's hot, then the butter icing will just melt and it won't work. So what point? So, yeah, you got them in there. Chocolate ones, which I know which one Nicholas will go for. I know which ones his brother Joseph will go for. The chocolate ones, and that's what Louise wants as well. I prefer the Victoria sponge ones, but that's just me as a preference. So yeah, there we have it. Buns done. Voila. So join me in part 3 when I'll be mostly banging in the buttercream. And we all like banging it in, don't we, Scott? So yeah, see you in part 3. Welcome to part 3. Part 3, the final part, to which I'll be doing and finishing off my butterfly buns. And I'm joined by Nicholas, because I'm Nicholas's dad, if you haven't got it before. So yeah, so we've just got a few more to do. Because over here, if you follow me, we've just been nearly finished. So, over here, even over here, is some finished buns. And we'll show you in a minute. But what I'm going to show you first is how you do it. And it's simple. You get a knife. You get a bun. You go into the bun, nearly at the edges, and you form a circle, jabbing in the middle with knife to cut out a segment. You then split that in half, get your spoon, get the chocolate buttercream, bang it in the middle, and then to form the butterfly, you put 2 pieces together, and voila, a butterfly bun. Whoops.
They look extra crispy now.
No, they're just fresh out there, so they've only just come out of cooker. So, see what to do. And then my son can pick one, and he can try it on camera and see if it tastes nice.
You already know what I'm going to say.
He might go.
No.
No, this should be nice. I don't think I've ever made a bad batch. Ever. No.
We just made about 1 and 2 more chocolate ones. And then...
I think this is the last one, son.
And 2 more of those white ones.
They're all done. Right. Finished. So, there is all the buns. Ones with jam in and chocolate ones. Finished. So Nick, would you like to try one?
Yeah.
I think the smallest one is that one. So, just peel back the paper and do it on
That's
camera.
hard.
Come here, come over here so you can do it on camera.
This is quite hard.
Okay. Just try not to drop it out because you're supposed to grab that. Right. Right. And it's off. So it's fully baked. Nice. Right. And there we have it. Butterfly bun bonanza. So we'll take some for lassies at work because I know they were after some. And that's how you do it. So, thanks very much for watching. There's another baking extravaganza, and the reason why I've got that tummy, because they're tasty. So, join us in next segment and next episode when I do something else. So it's a goodbye from Nicholas. Goodbye, Nicholas.
Bye.
And it's a goodbye from Nicholas's dad.